React is used everywhere in the tech world, and you'll have the chance to use it throughout your career, so it's a very valuable skill set to have. Yeah. My name is Katie, and I'm a software engineer on the React Apps team at Meta, and we work on building new features using React for Facebook.com. My first encounter with React was actually in a senior design project back at college. We were looking for a great client-side library to use for an app that we were building, and React seemed like the easiest to use and the fastest to build on. I had already gotten my job at Meta, but I didn't know what I was going to be working on at Meta, so it was cool to kind of get this experience with React. Realized I really enjoy working with it, and then get to do it in my day-to-day work. So I feel like in school you tend to do a lot of object-oriented programming, which uses inheritance. React doesn't use any of that. It uses something called composition. So that was a little bit difficult to think about, but there's so much documentation around React and such a strong community that it's easy to pick up, and you have support coming from so many different places. You can just go onto YouTube and watch a video, read through the documentation, or look at other open source projects that use React. So there's so many resources to pull from. I think developers outside of Meta choose to use React for the same reasons that we do at Meta. It's super easy to learn and pick up. You're able to create really custom UIs with React. We're building so many different features on Facebook.com every day that require a lot of custom components and UIs, so it's nice to have the flexibility that React provides. I would say React is the best choice for an app if your UI is really custom and you're looking for a lot of flexibility with what other libraries you can integrate for your app or website. React is just a front-end library. You're going to need to interact with other third-party libraries too. And if you want the flexibility of integrating with Redux or other third-party libraries, React is the perfect choice for you. React is also great if you have complex UIs where you want to reuse code across many different pages. So I think it's a great choice if you're building a complex website with a ton of features across a ton of different pages. I think React solves the problem of code reusability really well. Here at Meta, we have a core set of UI components that we're actually able to reuse across the site. And this means that we're able to build a lot of functionality into these core UI components, like accessibility. I think we're able to have a high quality bar across the site just because we're reusing components everywhere, and we're able to kind of share code even across Facebook and Instagram and Messenger. So I think that's a really unique part of React. It's really interesting because if I find a bug in a core UI component and I fix it, I'm not only fixing it for my one use case, I'm fixing it for use cases across the site. So I think it's a really smart way to use engineering effort. You're fixing a bug once and you're solving one problem everywhere. So I would say the biggest competitor of React is Angular. Angular is a bit different from React in that it's a full-fledged solution for an app or website. You don't really need to integrate with third-party libraries when using Angular, whereas with React, it's just a client-side library. So you do need to figure out how you're going to do routing and server-client communication. I would say React provides more flexibility with creating these complex custom UIs, whereas Angular makes it easier to create a single-page web application with an out-of-the-box solution. Learn by doing. Try to make an example app. Don't go and try to create the most complex app you've ever heard of. I would say start simple. Make sure you're using best practices. Continuously reference documentation to see if you're using hooks the way you're supposed to and that sort of thing. And it should come pretty easily. I think one of the great benefits of React is how easy it is to pick up and learn. There are a lot of different pieces of React and a lot of different concepts to learn, but it's really well worth it in the end because you're going to encounter React in your day-to-day work, hopefully for the rest of your career. And there's a huge community behind you ready to help and answer questions about React too.